of July today. I haven't been up the allotment for about a week because I've been working and the kids have been off school and stuff. So it's lovely to be back up here, and all sorts of stuff needs watering, and the weeds have decided to take over again, but hey ho. What I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to systematically go through each bed, weed it and water it, and if there's anything that I need to tell you about that bed, then I'll let you know. I doubt if I'll get the whole lot done today. I won't get the whole lot done today, but I will sort of do updates for you however long it takes. So let's start with the asparagus bed. Now here's the asparagus bed. This was the first year that I actually harvested some asparagus from it. Some of it is still too small, some of the spears are still too small. In fact, some of it's still coming through. I can see some more down there. But if any of your spears, when they come up, are too small, just leave them to go to seed like this, because then this will help them get bigger next year. Don't cut them off until they're completely brown like this, and then this one isn't completely brown, it's nearly brown, but not completely. But wait until all your fronds and the whole stick, the stem, is all brown before you cut it off. Make sure you keep asparagus as weed free as possible. I still have a few little weeds in there which I will try and get out, but this has done really well this year. Do watch asparagus when it grows, because you'll come down one day and it'll be about 2 inches high, and then one of the spears, and then you'll come down in a couple of days time and it will be over a foot. So they are something that grow incredibly quickly, but as I say, these are most probably finished for the year. I've got 1 or 2 other ones coming through, but I think that's going to be it for the year. So I'll just finish weeding this asparagus and then I'll give it a water. Now in this bed here, what I've got is the garlic. You can see now that the leaves are turning yellow and brown, so they're actually ready to come up. These little spots on here, this is rust. It's something that you get all the time, so please don't worry too much about it. It's just one of those things that happens. I seem to get it every year, or most years to be honest with you, and it doesn't seem to affect the bulbs underneath. So let me just show you how to harvest your garlic. Now you may remember that I did harvest some of my garlic a little while ago, a few weeks ago, and those were garlic cloves that I transplanted from last year. These are ones from this year, so I'm not expecting them to be huge, but it would be nice if they're a decent size. Now let's just take this one here. You can leave your garlic in for a little bit longer if you want, but to be honest with you, it's July. I'll take these out now. I'll put them in the greenhouse. Or stick them in a frost-free place so that they can dry, and you can obviously still use them before they're dried. But I just thought I'll get this out and then I can clear a section of this bed, and this bed is then finished. If you do leave these in a lot longer, then you'll find that the whole of this lot will go brown, and then when you try and get it out, it doesn't stay together. And obviously if you want to put them in a plat, you need some of this to be fairly sturdy to put it into a plat. So use your trowel and just go about 1.5 to 2 inches away from the stem of the garlic. Push your trowel in as far as it will go, pull it back very carefully, and hopefully, ooh, out comes a garlic clove. Here we are. Sorry, a garlic bulb, not a clove. There we go. That's quite a good size actually. I'm really quite pleased with that one. So I'll carry on and I'll dig the rest of these up because they are ready to come out. All you'll need to do then when you want them to dry is just take them home, just clean off as much of the dirt as you can, and then just lay them like that in a frost-free place so that they can dry for about a month before you plat them. So I'll carry on and I'll dig these all up and then I'll show you them when I've got them all. Right, well, I've just dug up all my garlic and I think I've had the best year of garlic I have ever had. It's here, there it is, all of it there. The wind's blowing the soil in my face. It's really good. They're all good sizes. There's a couple of small ones like that. Just remove that soil. A couple of small ones like that, but then lots of medium-sized ones like that. And then I've got some lovely big ones like this. They're just amazing. I got this garlic from Homebase, and it seems to, I usually get it from other places and I don't usually get it from Homebase, but this year I did, and it seems to have been the best that I have ever grown. So I think from now on I'm going to get it from Homebase. I think some of the packets only cost me 10p because it was right near the end of the season. So I'm absolutely thrilled with the garlic. So that's just great. Now I've turned over the bed that they were in, weeded it, and obviously I don't want to waste that space, so I'm actually going to sow something else in there. I've got some rocket seeds I'm going to sow. Seem to have lost the packet, but I know it's rocket because it says so. A row of black radishes and a row of spring onions as well, because these are all quite sort of quick growing crops. So if you do find that you've harvested something and there's a space, grow something in there that's fairly quick growing. Lettuce is great for growing in it, any herbs or anything like that. So I'm gonna sow a row each of these. I've shown you how to sow these before, so all I'm going to do is put a little a trough in about 1/2 inch deep, water in that trough, let the water soak through, and then sprinkle the seeds in the trough, obviously 1 trough per seed, and then just cover over the trough and the seeds with a little bit of soil. Then make sure you label it and sort of keep it watered on a regular basis, because now we're in July. It should be nice and warm. It's not rained for several days, so that's a bonus, and hopefully in about a week's time some of them should start to come through, but I will keep you updated on their progress. So I'll do these and then I'll show you something else. Right, and here I've got some carrots growing. They've done okay, but they're not. I was hoping to have an entire line full. Actually I've got a line and a half, because this is I had half a line of garlic, so I filled up the other half a line with some carrots, so that's why I've got 1 1/2. They've been a little bit hit and miss, generally all over the plot. So what I've decided to do is, if there are big gaps in between, I'm sowing some rocket as well, which is just starting to come up here. I only sowed that about a week ago. So that'll come up and it will just fill up the spaces, and it's a quick growing crop, so it's not like it's going to disturb the carrots whilst they're trying to grow down. So I'll keep an eye on those, and hopefully they'll grow well together. So that's those, and now let's have a look at the shallots. Right, well, here are the shallots. They're doing okay again. I have had them better. They've still got some more growing to do because they're still very green and the leaves are still standing up. In fact, I've got one here which is just about to start to go to seed, but I'll just leave that for a little bit longer. There is one here which it started to go all brown, which does mean that this one needs to come up. Usually they go they tend to sort of all go brown together. But as this one has started to go brown and is nearly completely brown, once they go brown they're not going to grow anymore because there's no greenness in their leaves. So let's dig this one up and just see how it is. So remember that you've put the shallot in and then it spreads, so you need to give quite a bit of space around it before you put your trowel in to hopefully get all of it up. So from one of the shallots, put your trowel, or you could use a big fork, about 1.5 inches to 2 inches away, push it down at an angle and then pull it back, and then hopefully the whole shallot should come up together, the whole bunch. So here it is, and let's have a slightly closer look at this. Right, well here it is. I've actually got 5 shallots on here. They're all a fairly decent size, the sort of size I would expect for a shallot, apart from this one which is a little bit small, but that's okay. I think there must have been another one there. I don't think I've left it in. Maybe I've already dug it up, I don't know. But what I'm going to do, I'll just take this one, I'll leave the other ones in because then they've still got a little bit more growing to do. But when you do harvest your shallots, the same with the garlic, is take them home, put them in a frost-free place, get as much of the soil off as you can and just put them in that frost-free place and leave them to go dry before you sort of bag them up, okay? Because if they're not dry and one goes mouldy, then all the ones round it will go mouldy and it will just spread and you'll end up losing them. Obviously I can use these before they're dried out, but just don't store them till they're dried out. So that's one of the shallots. As I say, I'll leave the rest in. But now I think we'll have a quick look. I'll just weed this area and then I think we'll look at how the broad beans are getting on. Right, well hopefully you can see that the broad beans are growing really well. They're really quite tall. They're a good couple of feet tall. In fact, one is actually a bit taller than that. The beans are producing beautifully on the plant and they're swelling lovely. So let's take a closer look at them. Right, well if we look underneath here, you can see that there are loads of them under here. I would show you some in the middle, but these are the ones on the outside. You may also notice that some of the leaves have been nibbled as well, and they've got some sort of disease to them, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the crop, which is great. You know when your your broad beans are done because you get hold of the pod and you push where a bean is. You know where a bean is because it comes out and then goes back in again. And if there's no give, then it means that this one is ready to harvest. Okay, so to harvest them, all you do, I'll harvest this one here, all you do is you hold it gently and you pull down firmly, just like that, and it should come off. So this is lovely, and the beans in here are lovely and large. So let's take a look at it inside. Now the way to open them is actually, it's quite tricky sometimes. You can either pop the bottom like this and it will just sort of pop apart the same way as you do with peas, or you can cut the top and just pull it down. Now inside the pod, it's lovely and furry, it's really, really nice. Okay, so just slide your finger down the side line and it should open fairly easily, just like that. And inside you can see that we have 5, there were 6 but that one didn't form properly, 5 really lovely broad beans. They won't all be ready together. If you do find that you have a problem with black fly, then you need to pinch out the growing tip at the top, and then spray them with, it's entirely up to you, diluted washing up liquid is very, very good, because they slip off and they can't get a grip. So that's like an eco way of doing it. But there we are, that's the first of the broad bean pods. I will go and I will squeeze the rest of them and see which ones are ready. Right, so there is what I've just picked. There's still loads more on there. Just make sure that they're firm, you know, they're full of beans all the way down, because sometimes the pod will look really big but the beans haven't swollen inside. So do make sure that you just squeeze them and just check. So that's great. Right, I'm going to have some lunch now and then I'll see you after lunch. Right, well, in this bed here is my broccoli. It's the Iron Man broccoli. It's doing really, really well. In fact, the leaves have actually started to go a little bit yellow. They do need a good water. I know we've had a lot of rain lately, but they'll need a little bit of feeding. So I'll feed them with a bit of seaweed fertiliser, and that should help. They are doing really well. Some of them actually need harvesting now because some of the heads are doing really well. So let me show you how to harvest your broccoli. Now, the one that I need to harvest would be the one in the most awkward place. It's actually in the centre here, and it's right underneath the pole, so I hope you can see it okay. First of all, when you harvest your broccoli, you harvest the bit on the top, and then once you've done that, then from the side, from sort of lower down, you'll get smaller bits as well. So make sure that once you've chopped the top bit off, you don't discard the plant, because you will get little sort of sprouting bits. Okay, this has actually gone a little bit too far because I haven't been down here for about a week. It's actually started to go to seed. It should be very, very smooth across the top, but that's fine. It really doesn't matter at all. It will still taste as beautiful. So you need to get either a very sharp knife or your pair of secateurs, and all you do is you just cut down, cut the stem and cut the head off. Okay, don't cut it too far down, because obviously you want to encourage these little bits to grow as well, and they will now. So if I'd have cut it down there, I would have wasted these ones. So there are a few more that are ready, so I'll harvest those and then I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so I've harvested two. This is what I mean, is it should be nice and smooth over the top. It shouldn't be sticking up like that. But this is absolutely fine. Obviously, if I let it go any further, then it would have gone to seed. But I will cook that in exactly the same way. Just make sure that before you cook them, you soak them well and you thoroughly check that there are no little caterpillars in there, because that may be a little bit of an unwanted surprise when you're having your dinner. I'm sure they taste very nice, but it's usually a bit whoa. So just make sure that you you wash them really well before you cook them. But let's have a look at the other stuff that's in this bed, and then I've actually weeded this bed. So I'll then just give it a water. So let me show you the other bits that are growing. Right, well, here I've got the beetroot. This is the Chioggia. They're actually, they're not ready yet, but they are swelling quite nicely round the bottom. So I'll keep watering those, and maybe in about 6 weeks or so, they'll be ready to harvest. You can see that they're swelling quite nicely around here. I've got a whole row of these, and they're all doing really, really well. They're about, some of these, oh, that one's quite a large one actually. Some of these are about, that one is about 1.5 inches across already, but obviously I'll leave them to get a little bit bigger. In amongst these, let me show you, I have a couple of rogue potatoes growing. There's one growing there, and well, actually there's a few growing there, and then there's one on the other side here. Oops. Because this last year I had the potatoes in here, and I've clearly missed some. So I'm going to leave those in anyway, and I will harvest them once I've harvested all the beetroot. And hopefully you can see here I've got a line growing up. There's a few spaces in between, but these are the salsify. I did sow these about 3 or 4 inches apart from each other. I think there weren't that many seeds, but I managed to sort of spread them out enough to make one line, but they seem to be doing really quite well. Yes, I do have gaps in them, but it's only the second year I've grown them, so they're not ready yet. They've still got lots and lots more growing to do, but when I come to harvest those, then I will show you. Right, and here there is, this is one lot of sweet corn. These are the sweet nugget. I showed them to you a few weeks ago, and some of them had just started to form the cobs. Now they've all got cobs on, or practically all of them have. Some of them have got more than one. There's one down here which has actually got 3 on, which is fabulous. So they're growing really well. They're not as tall as I would have expected them to be. Usually they can get to about 6 foot tall, and they're about 3. But once the cobs start to form, make sure that you water them thoroughly, otherwise the cobs won't swell up and you won't get the sweet corn on the cobs. Now in front of them, just here, I've got some onions. They're all right. Some are better than others. I did get these ones in a bit later than I would have wanted to have done, because the weather was a bit naff, and I managed to get some in and then I was delayed putting the rest in. So I'm not expecting huge things from the onions this year, but you never know, they might surprise me. As long as I get something, then I'll be quite happy. So just keep these weed free, and keep watering and feeding them, and then hopefully they'll swell up, and it'll help the sweet corn as well. Right, and these are my Kohl Rabi. They're doing incredibly well this year. They're really easy to grow. I've never really had much of a problem with them. As you can see, the leaves are starting to lose their colour, so they're actually ready to come out now, most of them. Some of them are still a little bit small, but some of them are just a beautiful size. You want to harvest these when they're slightly bigger than a tennis ball, about that sort of size there. They're about, I suppose, about 3 inches across maybe. The leaves you can eat as well, so you could actually stir fry those, but make sure you wash them thoroughly, just in case you've got any white fly on them, which I do have some on mine. They have been under a net to stop the birds from pecking them, and it seems to work. I sowed these from seed in a seed tray, then pricked them out into 3-inch pots, and then I put them out in the allotment, and it seems to work beautifully that way. You can sow them straight out into the ground, but I just find I get better germination rate if I do it the way that I do it. So to harvest these, all you need to do is pull them up, actually. You don't need a trowel or anything like that. Obviously if your ground is very hard, then yes, do use a trowel. You can, if you want to, cut off the root, but sometimes it's quite difficult to get to it. As you can see, this one sits very close to the ground. So get hold of the Kohl Rabi bulb here and then just give it a pull, and it should come out very easily. So there's the roots down there, there's a load still left in there, and you can see, look, it's beautiful. Look, there's a caterpillar there. We'll just pop him off. There we go, my darling. There are a few cracks under here, and they're just splits because we had so much rain all of a sudden, and this usually happens with anything. If you suddenly get a big influx of rain, they expand and their skin isn't ready for it, so it'll just split, but that's not a problem at all. You would take the skin off anyway, so that's what I do. Take the leaves off, clean those, stir fry those if you would like to, or otherwise just give them to your chickens. In fact, I think I might give these to the chickens because they'll enjoy them. And then all I'll do is I'll peel this, chop it up into chunks, about half-inch cubes, salt and pepper, olive oil, and roast for about 45 minutes on about gas mark 5. So I'll just harvest some more of these, and then when I've harvested enough to keep us going, then I will show you, but the rest I'll just leave in the ground. If they do get bigger than this, they don't get woody, so don't worry about that. Just harvest them as and when. But they do freeze very, very well, so if you've got room in your freezer, you can harvest all of yours and then freeze them. So I'll harvest a few and then I'll come back to you. Right, I've harvested 4. They're all looking really good. I'm really pleased with these this year. Some of them have sort of split in 2, but that doesn't matter. Just cut off the outside bit, and you know, there's nothing wrong with them. This one's actually got a section indented in there, but that doesn't matter. I'll just cut that out and then roast them. But yes, that's the first of the Kohl Rabi. I'm really pleased with those. They've done absolutely fabulously. Just make sure that the ones that are left in the soil you keep watered and again keep weed free. So I'll do that, and then I'll move on to the next thing. Right, well, I think that's it for today. I've now weeded and watered a quarter of the allotment, all of my a quarter of my space. So I think that'll do. I've also got a nice box of goodies to take back with me. Well, I've been down here for 4 hours and I need to go home now. I'm hot and thirsty and a bit stinky, so I think I'm going to call that quits. Been a very successful morning and part of the afternoon, so that's really good. Well, I hope what I've shown you found useful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.